Welcome, everybody. Here we go. Happy Thursday. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious, hot downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And, of course, you can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options and social media links and contact info and show archives, etc., etc. Hello to our friends at Raw Talk Online and Tomorrow Radio. Today is Thursday, August 26th, 2021, and I'm not alone.
Hello.
Jenny is here
Shalom,
at the news desk.
peeps.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, and joining us for the first time in quite a while, Veranette March is here, hanging out with the giant cardboard. Oh, I didn't pull your mic up yet. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hanging out with the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead in the corner there.
Giant cardboard Peter Whitehead.
Yes, that's what we call him.
Don't you feel like somebody's staring at you?
At all times.
Seriously. But your hair looks way better than his.
Oh, thank you.
Just
Oh,
saying.
yeah, it's much more red, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you.
And I will let you, because I'm not sure how to introduce him because he has more than one name. I will let you introduce our wonderful guest that you've brought with us today. You've brought with you today, I should say.
Yep. So Charles White, also known as Boston Black.
Hey.
Boston Black, also known as Ed OG.
No, I'm a member of the Bulldogs.
You're a
LOG
member
and
of the Bulldogs.
Yes, LOG
Gotcha.
and the Bulldogs. So
Gotcha.
I'm one member of the Bulldogs, LOG.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, well, I love that. You know, Veranette had sent me a link to, what was the song you sent me? I forget.
I forgot which one I sent.
But then I was, looking at a whole bunch of your stuff from that era. And I love, what's the song I said that I really loved? That
I know, now I got to look it up because...
Love Comes and Goes?
Love
Yeah,
Comes and
yes.
Probably play that later.
That's a story about a lot of fallen heroes.
Yeah.
That was a part of our group, actually.
Yeah, great track. I have a lot of questions for you, but we also have somebody on the phone. Let's see who we got here. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Eazy-G.
Hey, Eazy-G, what's up?
Well, an interesting story. I'm gonna just make a public announcement. You know, I joke around on the show a lot with you and Peter, but what happened to me this past week was no joke. So
Yeah. Well, okay.
well, unfortunately, I had a situation in my life go pretty off the wall. So I had to check myself in for a mental health checkup, and I'm glad I went because like I said, I wasn't doing very well. As you know, the last time you saw me at the studio, I was pretty tired.
Yes. Yes.
So I
you
got
are.
myself a checkup, and I'm doing a lot better. So I'm trying to live in the moment. You know, don't worry about the past and don't worry
Right.
about the future. Just live in the moment. So
Yep.
That's the same thing I learned
That's
because
all
I
it's
had no
about.
phone. I had no phone for 5 days. So
You're like
that was a good thing. They took my phone away and
Oh, wow.
no clock and just time to figure out what the hell's going on with me. So
Oh, wow. A little salty with the language, Eazy-G. That's not like you.
yeah, I'm sorry, but it was tough having no phone for 5 days. But I knew what they were doing. You know, just
Yes.
to pay attention to what they were teaching you. So
Yes.
main thing I learned is, like I said, don't worry about what you did in the past, and don't worry about the future. Just live in the moment. You know. Just
That's
live
right.
it, take it day by day. So
You're like John Cena.
That's what
Your
I'm
time
doing.
is now.
Oh, God.
what?
I said you're like John Cena. Your time is now.
Stop it.
His time is now.
Right.
Living in the moment. I'm trying
Terrible.
So I'm
trying to help.
get
Evil.
things back to normal. So we'll see you guys tomorrow with my mini entertainment report. So,
All right, Eric. Very good.
Woot, woot.
but that's
What-
my public service announcement. Hey, if you need to get some help, don't wait till it's a really bad situation,
Yes.
because there is help out there. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good advice.
that's my public announcement, and we'll see everybody tomorrow in the studio. So you guys have a great show. I'll be listening.
Sounds great.
Proud of you, Easy.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, I'm glad he's feeling better. That's a big relief. That's a big relief. Let's see. Well, if you'd like to enter the discussion today, of course, you can give us a call at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. And you, sir, you have a show coming up, correct?
I do. I've been blessed to be, to come from Boston to the Manchester area and get connected with the nightlife out here and do here what I love doing and what I did in Boston, which is promote the local artists. So the club formerly known as Panucci's, which is now 603.
Yes.
Yep.
In my opinion, is probably one of the hottest nightclubs on the Strip. Shout out to Kevin. He has given me an opportunity to do a concept. I'm a concept promoter. Turn Up Tuesdays. Turn Up Tuesdays. One Tuesday a month, the end of every month, I bring a combination of local artists and artists from either Boston, Connecticut, where have you, down and spotlight that talent.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that a lot.
Yeah, so this August 31st, Turn Up Tuesday, we got a lot of the heavy hitters from out of Boston who will be coming down. Sandro Castro, Gandhi Quiggs. We got a local talent that's amazing, a young lady by the name of Unique Harmony. She has a voice of an angel. So it's going to be fun.
I've seen her online, I believe. That name's super familiar to me.
Yeah, she's amazing, her voice.
This will be the first one of
This will
of
be
these?
the second one.
The second one, okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you said you called it concept. You're a concept promoter.
Yeah, so my thing is, you have an establishment. What you do on Fridays and Saturdays is locked in stone. You don't need me to come in and do anything. So, I like to take an establishment, where the ebb and flow of the clientele on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Yeah,
I want to bring a concept there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to make it become a thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That people look forward to. I got Work It Wednesday coming in October.
What's it called? Work It Wednesday.
Work It Wednesday. For better or worse, on radio, if you got what it takes, you're a twerker, you come out and you work it on Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And we give them $300 prizes to the best twerker.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
Nice.
Concepts.
You're obviously, you're from Boston. Have you done other concept promoting here in New Hampshire?
This is
prior
my
to this?
This is my first in New Hampshire.
Okay.
I've done elsewhere in New England. Boston was my hub.
Yeah, yeah,
That was my home base. So I had a couple different places that I did these things at.
yeah.
And it's just once a month. Give you that taste. That hunger. That you got something to look forward to. That one Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday a month.
Excellent.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot.
We have a call. We'll grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Christian, and I just want to
Hey.
give big props to this man because he's supporting local artists and he's revitalizing the local nightlife scene out here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Well said.
Christian, also known as DJ Reckless, and he's, very active in the scene here.
Nice.
He's got a bunch of stuff coming up. He was, when I told him you were coming on today, he was excited. I said, call in.
Awesome.
Actually, he was more like pouting.
Yes.
If I had known.
Yeah.
And if I might add, because I truly don't know all of the artists here, I have been looking for the artists, the local artists, to send me their music,
Yep.
to connect with me so that I can put you on the stage.
Yeah.
Well, you came to the right place at WMNH.
Hey,
Yes. Absolutely. Christian might have some suggestions.
link with
Oh,
me.
of course. Actually, I think him and I know a lot of
You probably
mutual people.
You probably do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I ran into him Saturday. I was downstairs at Panucci's or 603 now.
You
with Curtis.
did.
Oh.
I remember now. You did, and we dapped it up, and we
Oh,
we
good.
said that we'll link.
Excellent. Very good. What do you have tonight, Christian? You've got. I can't keep it all
Well,
straight. Do you have-
I'm going out to Cheers and Beers. It's the grand opening.
tonight's the grand
I
opening
want
of
to go
Cheers and
support
Beers.
the homies.
Yeah. Excellent. Outstanding. All right. Very good.
Yeah, thank you guys. Keep it up. revitalizing the scene. It's great to have you and see people caring,
Yeah.
for lack of better wording.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. I love music, man. I love hip hop, man.
Of course, that's the main reason I got into DJing.
Definitely.
All right, Christian. Thank you for the call.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Christian LaCoss, also known as DJ Reckless. Yeah, he's got a lot going on. That opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. I do want to say hello to everybody on the Facebook live chat because we're already getting some feedback in there. Mike Pelopita, who is a top fan from Queen City Cabinetry, one of our sponsors, joins us. Wayne Noel, a top fan from Michigan. Also, Tony Petrello is in there. Veranette March is in the chat room.
I'm in there.
Yes. Ricky Litwinkowicz from New York City, Pain Train Pipe Bomb, is in the chat. Eric Street, who is a top fan. Let's see.
I'm not in there because my phone is going to die.
Yes.
That was bad. I didn't charge.
DJ Reckless, who was just calling us Christian, he says, come see me tomorrow at the Soho Bistro and Lounge while I tear up the decks. And says it's awesome to see what you're doing for the local scene. Very good. And Stacy Lawton also joins us in the chat room. So you started out as a performer, obviously, right? Or...
I did. I was like probably I was young. We were 16, 17, just breaking into the music scene. And we didn't know what we wanted, what the positions anybody was going to play in the group. Yeah. So I don't mind the mic. I don't mind the stage. So I was like the hype man / road manager /
Yeah.
Back in the day. When
back
you're
in the day,
sticking stickers and
tape decks. So did some stuff in the studio, that we took home and let mom listen to. But it was always fun to be on the stage.
I think it's cool that your mom could listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not all
Seriously?
parents. Not all parents are supportive. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
Oh, I thought we had a call.
So were you in a group that did harmonies or
no?
What was your
rap?
Your rap? Okay.
Strictly rap. Our first album, national album that came out was entitled "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto," released on PWL Mercury Records. In fact, we were their first rap group.
Wow.
Yeah, and they went on to become one of the biggest labels in hip-hop. They bought Island, they bought Def Jam, they bought this, they bought that, and the rest is history. But, we were that breakthrough group who were their first rap group.
Wow.
Were you, did it change at one point? Am I reading this correctly? Was OG into Bulldogs, and then it just became to Bulldogs?
So we kind of split after a while.
Yeah.
So the group itself was OG and the Bulldogs, and Ed came out with his first album. Then each individual member would then go on to do his album, which they did, the Bulldog album. And then
okay.
It was like a Wu-Tang movement back then before it was considered a movement.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the first guy who gets through the door, holds the door open, and brings the rest of the crew in.
So you guys were kind of the template for that then, or at least in Boston, right?
In Boston, we was the first group aside from Keith Elam.
Okay.
Gangstar.
Yep.
He left the group. Props.
Wow.
Major props. He moved to Brooklyn.
Okay.
And took the Gangstar movement to Brooklyn.
I honestly didn't know he was from. I'm familiar with him. I didn't know he was from Boston originally.
Everybody thought he was from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He's from Dorchester, Keith Elam.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, he's from Dorchester. I grew up with him.
Wow.
But that's how it was. Back then, it was get through the door, and bring us with you. You have a group of guys who all have individual talents.
Yeah.
Ed had his talent, Smooth Ice G, who's now known as Flaquito Chulo. He has his own talent. Bulletproof has his own talent. DJ Cruz has his own talent. Acting Up, was Darren, he went on to Hollywood to make movies, and come back to make, records. It was a movement. And we didn't realize that that's what we were doing, but it was a movement.
Now, do you use the name Boston Black for everything now, or?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
But you weren't using that name back then, right?
It was just Black.
It was just Black. Gotcha.
the name Boston Black, there's a story behind that.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to read my biography.
Oh, okay.
We're giving the plug.
Well, yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because
seriously, talk about that.
yeah, Veranette, when she messaged me, she said you're writing his bio.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And it's going to be a very interesting story. Like I feel it's going to be a type of book that you're going to pick it up and finish it that night because there's so many different things discussed in the book from the start, not just the music, but his life story.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, give us something.
Maybe a little teaser.
Give us a teaser, yeah. Like what?
What was something that you can share that was interesting that you found out, Veranette, when in starting to gather the information? What was something that was like, really?
Well,
Wow.
you know what? It's funny because when we're talking about the federal prison systems, Boston Black was involved with a lot of that, and it's almost like a Shawshank Redemption kind of thing. Really crazy what goes on. In the prison systems and how it's really, what do you call it? A society within a society.
Society within a society.
Okay.
But some stories about that, which I guess too, when you got into the religion part and, it's just so many different things that you'll see once you read in the book, people he's met, some mobsters.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and just how he was involved with that and how things are, like you could be in one federal prison, let's say Texas, and then be transferred to Colorado, and then all of a sudden now be part of that group there because they already send a message like he's okay to be.
Oh, wow.
The kites that fly.
The kites, yep.
Interesting.
So, yep.
Interesting.
The kites that fly.
You really get an in-depth view of like how that works.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how did the two of you connect for this project, for the biography?
We actually met randomly.
It was so random.
We were at 603, and then he was speaking about how you wanted your story to be heard, and then I happened to mention that I did freelance write for Manchester Inkling,
Yes.
and I got involved in a couple things with that, and then I had him read a couple of the articles, and then we just took it from there.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
cool.
You know, if I might add, the LOG and the Bulldogs documentary dropped about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I was next in that series of documentaries. And for whatever reason, I was sharing my thoughts about the documentary with somebody
Yeah.
and overheard that she was a writer
Oh.
and that she was not just a writer, but like her work has gone abroad.
Yeah.
And as much as I think I can write, I've written a whole bunch of little manuscripts that I've never done anything with.
Yeah.
And when I seen, the professionalism that she put into her writing, now I guess the cat's out of the bag. People know that I didn't write the story.
Right.
So I came to her and I said, listen, I showed her what we had did,
Yeah.
our group's history. I was totally honest with her about my history.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I had to get honest with her about it because I needed to spend time talking to her about the person that she was writing about.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I have to, and I don't mind sharing my story. It's truly not a story of redemption. It's just it's a story of, bad things happen to good people.
Yes.
Yep.
When you talk about redemption, then, everybody gets spooked out because they think it's a religious book. This is a story about bad things happening to good people who are in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong group of people.
Yeah.
So in order for me to get that story out, I needed to go deep down inside and I need to be honest with the person who was writing this story.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people who have great qualities. They're lost in the cracks because they're afraid to tell their truth.
Yes. That's very, very true.
They are so afraid to tell their truth. So they get lost.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what's out there. And I'm the first person to tell you. I went to federal prison April Fool's Day, 1990.
Okay.
I came home. You ready?
Yeah.
Halloween 2008.
Okay.
In doing so, while there, I have a business degree and a psych degree.
Wow.
Got myself out of prison, became a paralegal. I can't practice, but I took the 2-year course.
No kidding.
Got myself out of prison.
I'll be damned.
Wow.
While out, I went to school, became a medical assistant, got my LPN, and went on to manage some of the biggest departments in the
kidding.
biggest hospitals in Boston.
Wow.
And then went back to teach at the very school that I graduated from.
No
That's
kidding.
awesome.
Wow.
Why? Because I had to share the truth.
Yeah.
And I taught this truth to people who are just like me, who are hiding in the shadows, afraid to tell people that's my story also.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a story of redemption. It's a story that you cannot allow your past to dictate your future.
Sounds very much like a survivor story.
Yeah. And that's where the gap came with Edo G and the Bulldogs and me. That's why you see the first 2 albums, you see me there on the cover. Everything afterwards, I'm vanished.
Oh, okay.
So my story is to let people know what happened.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's awesome.
I
That's
gotcha.
a really great thing to share.
And we're back together. Every member of the group, with the exception of Scientific, bless his soul, who passed,
Okay.
30 years later, still doing music.
Oh, so you're back together now?
Most definitely.
No kidding.
That's
Oh.
awesome.
We had our 30-year, we performed for the first time in over 20 years on stage together, all of us.
Wow, no kidding.
That is
At
so
6:03.
cool.
No
That
kidding.
is so cool.
That's amazing. That must have
Wow.
been surreal.
It was. So my story is to let people know that, thought is the cause of it all. And if you apply yourself, you can change your existence. You can change your reality.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Was there a moment for you where something kind of clicked? Because you obviously you started really going hard at getting an education while you were in prison. Right?
Now you're getting into the book.
Yeah, now you're getting into the book. It's
Well,
a chapter in the book.
Should I?
Not too
Oh,
much.
my. I think we teased
Okay.
enough on the.
So, that's the book.
See?
Yeah.
So don't you want to read it now?
I do.
See?
Big time, right?
Yeah, I'm a healthcare professional. I own my own
I
healthcare
love that.
agency.
That's awesome.
And I don't mind telling people my truth because I don't want people to hide. I don't want people to be afraid.
Yeah.
I don't
Do you-
want people to think that they cannot succeed.
Do you think the fact that you became a healthcare provider played a role in being able to be open about your story?
No,
Not at all?
no.
Nope. See, I was wondering just about taking care of others, if that makes it easier for you to.
It had nothing to do with it. My core is good. I come from a very great core. Values that my
Oh,
grandmother...
no. I didn't mean that. I
Oh,
think
no,
I
no.
said it the wrong way.
No. I understood exactly what you're saying.
Okay, cool.
This is the story of bad things happening to good people.
Mm.
It's always been there. I diverted.
Mm.
I made the wrong decisions. Not society, not the system, not the color of my skin. I made the bad decision.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I fixed it.
And it's basically showing too. Because technically, and it would be mentioned in the book, but how anyone, because if you think about it, it's not just gang members in the prison systems. You got people like Bernie Madoff, or this, that screw people over or do something wrong. It could just happen to anybody that just makes a bad choice in life. And if you think daily on how many times a day you have to make choices,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
there's always going to be one that might not be the best.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, land you in a federal prison,
Yeah.
it could affect some money. It could be a negative, and so
Yeah.
it's just the choices that you make throughout
Yeah.
life.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So, but we're pushing for the book to be. We're gonna self-publish, but pushing for January 2022.
Okay. Is it done?
No, we still got plenty more to go. So I basically have been. We kind of just have conversation. I record everything like how I would with interviews.
Yeah.
For when I would do the journalism, and basically certain keywords would pop out, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be a chapter. Boom, and we're going to separate it out.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just all conversation.
Yeah.
And then I'm there to pull out different information and questions.
You are seriously the Renaissance woman. You are our Renaissance woman. I love it.
She doesn't play.
There's nothing that she can't do. It's a lot easier to try and figure that. There's nothing you can't do.
Thank you.
Healthcare, promotions, bartender, writer,
Dancer.
autobiographer now, or biographer now. Yeah, dancer. Yeah. You got it all.
So, but it's like I said, it's gonna be a really gripping story, and what I want, and I definitely feel that I'll be able to portray definitely what Charles wants to bring out in the book.
Yeah.
But like I said, as you're reading through, to not want to put it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and finish it. And it's not going to, I don't want to make it like a real thick book or whatever, but enough where it's like, the chapters are shorter, just so that it's like, oh, okay, now on to the next thing. But it's still picking up, building that momentum.
No, I get you.
Charles, is this like therapy for you when you sit down with Veranette and you tell, because, when you were talking about telling your story, how it was important to you to share your story, and some of the verbiage you used, it reminded me of someone talking about going to therapy.
It's ironic that you asked that question in combination with the first caller who called in.
Yeah. Yes, Eazy-G, yeah, Eric.
It's, yes, to answer the question, it is therapy. Because I had a conversation last night, I was at 603, about the writing. And somebody says to me, well, why don't you just keep doing the DVD series? I said, because the men and women who I left behind in federal prison, they don't have Amazon accounts. I want it to be in print so that it can reach them.
Oh, yeah.
So they can reach them so that they can know that is not final.
Right.
So when you ask the question about whether or not it's therapy, most definitely. Because she's given me the opportunity to express those thoughts, to let people see the steps that I took to make it possible, and to get it out in bulk to people, as opposed to me sharing these thoughts with people at a cookout.
Right.
Or over a beer.
Right.
I don't have to know you to read my thoughts, and it becomes helpful for you. It's therapy for me because I'm talking about it. I'm not a powder keg giving off sparks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
I'm releasing it, that pressure.
Yeah.
And going back to what the original, that caller, mental health is not a topic that's discussed among the rap community or even in the urban communities, be them white, black, or Hispanic.
Yeah.
Depression, mental health, it is real, and it affects all of us.
Yes.
Whether you realize it or not. As a kid, I was classified, he has he's hyperactive. Well, that's ADHD now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they could have given me medication back then, I'm sure they probably would have. And then being away in isolation for so long, the depression sets in. The wondering, what did I do with my life, sets in.
Oh, I bet.
Those questions begin to kick in.
The rumination.
The self-doubt, all of it. And when I applaud that gentleman who actively seeked help.
Yes.
Because a lot of us don't seek help. Here's what men do. We transfer emotions. When we're in pain, it comes out aggressive, anger. We're PO'd. And people are like, what's wrong with him? But what they don't know is that deep down inside, there's something going on at the core that I'm afraid to talk about.
Right.
Because if I discuss it, I'm going to be looked at as though I'm a cuckoo.
Yeah. What's that expression? Anger is just sadness stuffed down or something. I don't have that quite right, but there's an expression about that. I think it's gotten better, though, right? I mean, just broadly in terms of the stigma. Like, I struggle with depression, and
As do I.
yeah, and so many of us do. And 10 years ago, I wasn't. I mean, I never would have just openly said that. You know what I mean? I tried to hide it. And probably not much longer than 10 years ago, I tried to even hide it from myself. I wouldn't even admit it to myself that I had a problem. I would try to tell myself, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. But now I feel comfortable openly speaking about it because, well, there's millions of us, who struggle with
You're
this.
not alone.
So, yeah.
And if you look on your, I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden now it's just all over my Facebook feed. Like if you suffer from depression, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Before I had to be honest with myself about it because it pushed my family away from me.
Yeah.
Here I am, 6 foot. I was bigger than this. Bald head, black guy. I'm the rock. I'm the strength of the family. I cannot tell them that I have issues and bouts of depression, sadness. I'm supposed to be strong for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But when you give yourself continuously to people, you become emotionally bankrupt. You have nothing for yourself when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
So people begin to ask the question, what's wrong with you? Oh, well, I some stuff on my mind. That's how we chalk, that's how we chalk it up.
Yes,
I got some
know.
stuff on my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm afraid to tell them what's really on my mind.
Yeah.
Why I stay in the room for days on end, why I just shut down, become a recluse and don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because the weight of the world, I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stifling me. My chest,
Yep.
I can't breathe. My hands, I get sweaty. My anxiety is elevated.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that. So
Yeah.
now all of the celebrities, and here's the funny thing, we're common folks. Now the celebrities are talking about it. It's become a thing now.
Yeah.
Where people are coming out of the woodwork, laying down their careers and saying, I need to deal with my mental health.
Yep.
We couldn't do that back then.
Right. So there's progress.
There is progress, and I like it.
But you were saying in terms of in terms of the hip hop community, there's no.
Well,
is there still a stigma there?
Of course there is.
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
She and I were talking just yesterday. And I'm going to take it away from hip hop for a second.
Sure.
And I'll tie it in later. Kurt Cobain.
Yes.
Janis Joplin. Jimi Hendrix. We're talking about kids who had nothing and all of a sudden became somebody.
Yeah.
Mass amounts of money. So here's what happened. People come out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Those people feel entitled. I need you to do something for me now.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to help me out. That's pressure.
I'm your long lost cousin.
Yeah,
Don't you remember me?
Yeah, that's pressure. And now you have the guy over here who's plying you with drugs, right?
Yeah.
You have all of the resources now to buy these drugs.
Yeah.
So when that pressure from the outside gets too much, drugs become your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol become your friend. You self-isolate and indulge.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the explosion when the overdose comes. You know what people say?
Yeah.
He was a junkie. Yeah, he was an alcoholic. No. They didn't look at what happened prior to that.
Right.
Same thing applies in the urban community with hip-hop. Here's kids from the ghetto. Their hobby becomes their bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
So now the pressures from the friends, from the gangs, from the families, all of that now, boom, just jumps right on them, right? The pressure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So what happens now? Self-indulging in drugs and alcohol,
Yeah.
right? Sitting by yourself saying, damn, all these people, my phone is blowing up. My inbox is blowing up. Everybody feels like I owe them something.
Yeah.
Do you know how depressing that is?
I've never heard anyone explain it this way before, but it makes perfect sense.
People don't look at it like that.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It does, yeah. We have a call. We'll grab this.
I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, not at all. This is great. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, this is Mary from Manchester, and I'm just calling. I'm not sure of your guest name. I just tuned in. I can't speak to the last 3-minute segment, but before, I totally agree with him that people are just emotionally mentally and physically drained. And sometimes you're so busy and occupied taking care of everybody else that you don't take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more you look around, you can recognize people that have, and you know what, depression, it's not a bad thing. It's something that just needs to be addressed, because it's sometimes like the old saying goes, you can't take care of anybody else until you take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think we have caretakers in this world, and the caretakers are the ones that end up having the brunt of this battle.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm really impressed that a lot of the local resources have stepped up. I mean, to include VFR, which is Veterans and First Responders. So they take care, they do counseling for veterans, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, anything, military families of these people. And it's true. It can just creep up on you, and you don't realize it because you're so busy with life, and you're so busy this is the person that's going to take care of everybody else's problems. And I'm not saying law enforcement or any of that. I'm just saying even as a family member, don't worry, they'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It does. It piles up, and it gets tiring. And I really appreciate everything that he's saying today, because I think it's really important that it can't be a stigma, and it's just there's resources out there, and just take care of yourself. And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much for the call.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having that guest. He's awesome.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
All right, Mary.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was our friend Mary. Always nice to hear from Mary. That does open up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. See, this is why I didn't want to let you leave after a half hour, because I knew this would be very interesting, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback in the Facebook live chat. And Abigail says, I was trying to get that. I knew I didn't have the expression quite right. Anger is just sadness held in too long.
Yeah.
That's the expression that I was looking for. Yeah. But yeah, the way that you explained, what happens when, all of a sudden you've got money, you've got celebrity and all that. I'd never heard anyone explain it quite that way before. And, I think too, you mentioned Kurt Cobain. It's, I think people who've never struggled with depression, because I think everyone gets depressed at some point, but, there's a difference between clinical depression, whether it's a chemical imbalance in the brain or whatever, and the kind of depression that anyone can experience, say, after the loss of a loved one or something. But I think people who've never experienced clinical depression and don't have any direct experience with it, from their standpoint, they can't understand. And it's not their fault. It's that they don't know how it feels. They don't understand why anyone would be sad for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when Kurt Cobain killed himself, all these people would say, this doesn't make any sense. He had money. He had fame. He was on top of the world. He was at the height of his career. How could this man take his own life? And it's well, he was depressed, and it wasn't, he didn't necessarily need anything to be sad about. That's the nature of that beast, of that demon that is depression.
And it goes to show you that these things, too, if you think about it, and you hear about it all the time, as cliche as it is, where it's money can't buy you happiness. No. You're it helps, pay the bills, and, you won't have those worries.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if you don't fix what's inside of you and what's really going on, and you have that open conversation with yourself, you write it down, you do this. And even when I moved back, you remember that whole, I was having all that, those panic attacks and whatever else. And even though I didn't feel anything was happening, it wasn't like I was sitting there thinking, oh, I'm having an issue, or whatever. It was something maybe subconscious or whatever.
Yeah.
But, even at work where I almost had a stroke. That's why I'm moved back. And then I was getting these panic attacks. Remember, I couldn't breathe. And all of a sudden, I go, where's this coming from?
They can truly feel like you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Which is why you got to go to the hospital, because you don't know which one it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to get the right treatment.
But it's just crazy how it could just happen.
Well,
Yeah.
and, I think this is such a great topic, especially to talk about men's mental health, because I don't think we talk about it nearly enough. But we can see the other examples. Chester Bennington, look what happened there,
Yep,
and
yep.
what happened, and who passed away right at the same
Chris
time?
Cornell.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
They both committed suicide within a very short period of time of one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that depression is I think the word that came to mind was that people who have never been that depressed can't think that way.
Right.
So they can't understand it. It's like somebody will say that, I don't understand how that person can hit that child that way because I'm not capable of thinking that way.
Right.
Right.
If I've never been that depressed, never clinically depressed, I'm not necessarily capable of thinking that way. It's not a bad thing. It just means I can't relate to it.
Right. Yeah.
So I need to not try and just relate to it, but just be there for that person.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Maddie, it's Gary the Pain.
Hey, Gary. No, we
are not.
we love you, Gary. What's on your mind, my friend?
Wow. Your guest is, man, he just hit the spot. He hit the spot with me.
Good.
And, you and Jenny know my situation and with my mental health.
Yes.
And I was always the guy. Yeah, I understand what he said. I was always the guy that, hey, can you give me $1 or my family, taking care of my family? Hey, well, the kids need something, and I'm there for you. I'm there for you. And now, after a while, when everything runs out, nobody's there. And that's what they did to me. And they would always laugh. Well, you don't. And my friends are going like, "Why are you alone? Why is your head down so much?" I said, "Well, I got nothing to be proud of. I got nothing. I have nothing in my life. And like I said, I did the suicide route, but I'm still here.
We're very glad that you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maddie, Dr. Matt, and my love of my life, Jenny. Don't say anything to Matt.
I won't. I promise I
They're
won't
just
tell.
two great people. I love those people to death. I got to see them, and talk with them. I want to talk with them more. But you, man, you just hit it on a spot. And men, we don't think it. We're the strong guy. We're always going to help out. We're always going to do something. And I have really bad depression and I have really bad anxiety, and it just throws me for a loop sometimes. So.
Yeah.
I'm into music. I've been into music for a long time. I'm in poetry. I write poetry. I'm writing little things, and it just it brings out good stuff. And man, just what a guy! What a guy!
Oh, very nice.
You're
Thank
really
you.
something. Matt has some people on his show. They're kind of like, but you really brought out a lot of stuff, and I'm really, really happy.
Oh, very good.
Really happy to, and that always makes me feel good, and Jenny always makes me feel good because, she just has that laugh, and, they both are just great people.
Oh.
I believe you're both just great people.
We love you.
Thank you very much
know,
for the feedback.
Yeah, thank you, Gary.
And then, and I hope, I want to read your book, so I hope.
Excellent.
She
Thanks.
gets off when she gets everything, she gets off the snide and gets it right away because I like to read.
Oh,
Awesome.
I think it's pretty safe to say they're going to be coming back when the book gets ready for a release.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Of
Excellent.
course.
I want a copy. I want to read it. I'm because I deal with depression every day and anxiety and what do, and then I circle around and I do my music because I really
There you
don't
go.
have any friends. I have all my shout out to the mental health, man. That's my family. That's my team.
You're part of
And,
our tribe. You're
my
not
best
alone.
show-
We claimed
my
you.
best show is listen to Maddie and listen to Jenny, and they give you good advice. So.
I don't know about that. I mean, have you seen
Well, we-
it?
well,
Oh yeah.
we try. We do our best. All right, Gary.
Hey, you helped me. I'm
Well,
a
I'm
pain in
glad.
the
I
butt,
love
so you helped me. No.
No, we love you, man. Absolutely. All right, Gary. Thank you
No.
so much for
All
the
right.
call.
And yeah, I really want to read that book. I'm
All right.
I'm honest with that. And keep up your work, man.
Thank
You're
you,
just
sir.
a great guy.
Thank
You're
you.
just a great guy.
Awesome.
God bless you. You know, if you are a little religious, God bless you.
You
know?
too, brother.
And if you're not, then hey, you get the big spirit in the sky.
Positive waves and thoughts.
How about that?
All right, very good.
All right. Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Gary.
Love you both. Love you, Jen.
Love you too.
Love you, Maddie.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Love you, Gary. Bye-bye. All right, very nice.
Yeah, we could even do that. Do like a
Wow.
couple signed copies.
Yeah.
About
Heck yeah.
maybe to
You got to do an audio version too.
Definitely.
You
Oh
absolutely
yeah, well
gotta
we
do
were
an audio
actually
version,
discussing.
too.
Remember, I was
Yeah, we
discussing
were
that with
talking
you because
about
I'm like, I don't know
audiobook.
if you would want to have you actually telling your own story,
Oh,
like reading
yeah.
the book and doing the audio, or if you decided to pick.
Oh no, he
someone
should do
else,
it.
but-
You should totally do it. Absolutely, you should totally do it.
I'll try to do it in a Morgan Freeman voice.
You don't have to try. You got a great voice already.
Thank you, thank you.
But no, for a shout out to those of us who have a little vision issues. I live for my audiobooks, and I love it when it's the person that it's about reading it. You know, I'm so into that. You got to do it. You got to, because you know what? You can tell your story from an emotional point that has so much more power.
Yeah.
Like Tori Amos did a book recently, Resistance, I think is what it was called. And to hear her tell her story, but then read her lyrics as her poetry was so powerful.
Yeah.
And you got to do it. Plus, you got a really good voice there. Let me just say.
See, so it might actually work. So.
Got a nice voice down there.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, Matt. This is Shannon McGuire.
Hey, Shannon. I think this is the first.
How are you?
I think this is the first time you've actually called my show. I always see you in the chat
I
room.
know. Well, boy, this is a great show. I'm calling because number one, panic attacks suck. I've suffered from quite a few, and they're pretty bad. But I also wanted to call too because I work at a local school district. And one of the workshops that we were required to go to was about suicide prevention.
Oh.
And to imagine, that in elementary school the teachers had to go to that. And it's just so sad to think that, we're in a world that teachers need to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Long overdue. Long overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teachers should have. We never discussed these things before.
Go ahead, Jenny. I'm sorry.
Well, with teachers, we never discussed these things before. I mean, back in the day, like when I was a kid, there was no such thing as mental health in the elementary school.
Right. Yeah.
There really was. There wasn't. The high school would send down their person if there was a problem at the elementary school, but you didn't talk about it. There was no discussions. Teachers didn't know what to do, how to handle it. I mean, I'll be honest. My first suicide attempt, I was 7 years old. So this, to hear you say that, my heart went, yes, thank you. Thank you that teachers are having this workshop and talking about this openly. The more we talk about it openly, the more sunshine we put on it, the less suicides we're going to have.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was tough, but I understand, the reason we did it. But the other thing was, we always have to go to a school-wide, gathering, and the superintendent speaks. And one of the things he had said, which was interesting, was, and again, I don't know if I'm getting the numbers correct, but I think he said the United States makes up 4% of the world's population, and we're like 80% of the drug addicted people that live in the world.
I didn't know
Something
that.
like that.
Wow.
It was crazy. And the last thing I want to say is at the suicide prevention presentation that we had, the lady did say, she was very, very good, and she did say that men are a lot more prone to committing suicide than women.
Yeah.
That I knew.
And I thought that was fair. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Yeah. That's sobering to think about, but
very sobering.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're having this talk, and let's just hope that someday things will get a little bit brighter, and we can continue. So.
Absolutely. All right, Shannon. Well, it's wonderful to finally hear your voice. Thank you for calling.
It's nice to talk to all of you too.
Big time.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Well, you guys have a good afternoon.
All right, Shannon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And think of how it's kind of shot up too since the pandemic. I mean, how many people were isolated.
Yeah.
Because even for like myself, That's why I was just like, let me just work as many hours as possible.
Just
I had that opportunity
right.
because of, working in healthcare.
Yeah.
But I can't just be sitting home by myself, no family, there was no way I was able to just be alone like that.
Right.
For that period of time.
Yeah. Of
It's
course,
just.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to speak to what she said, and it's just part of the discussion that we've had, 80% of the world we make up of all the drug addicts and stuff of that nature because we don't treat addiction. We incarcerate it.
Yes.
Right.
So we just have a nice little revolving door where and you know what happens in jail? So the drugs get in, of course. So they're never off the drug. We don't give them treatment. We put them in a jail cell. They get out. They got nowhere to go. They go back to the drugs. And here we go. We never give mental health treatment correctly and a treatment for addiction correctly. We just stick them in a jail cell and say, oh, well, you're nothing. Well, you're a waste now. We're not going to pay any attention to you.
Well, another thing what we were mentioning, too, yesterday, too, is think of how many people are misdiagnosed as well.
Oh, yeah.
And think of how many times you have to go through different medications so you get the right one.
Yep.
And it's also, too, because some people, it's hard for them to open up. Think even if you had the opportunity to sit and speak with someone, it's like, how do I even begin?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just difficult to even do that.
Right.
Because you're like, first you have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
No one can really help you until you let it all out there.
Right.
Because then they won't
and that's
know.
not easy.
Right? It's
not
like
easy.
peeling back the onion, just doing that and getting to all those layers. And then you can find out that it's something that stemmed from whatever, and then this just, added on to it.
Yeah.
But even if you go and get to speak with somebody and say, it could take years before you finally get to that level.
Absolutely. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, Matt. Hi, Jenny. Hi, guest. And anybody else I missed.
Hey, Ron.
Good to hear from you. Gary, I met you one day over at the Hop Knot when they had the live show. And we sat down and talked. I'm Ron, the guy that gave you a ride home. Well, this is for Gary or anybody else that could be listening, and especially if you got a paper and pencil, you might want to write down this one name. I don't take meds unless I absolutely have to. I don't take any pain meds. I had 4 broken ribs, and I didn't take them. I just don't want to. I got my enough problems. I went into the doctor almost a month ago, and because of all the things that have been going on in my family with deaths and stuff, it was bottled up, and I just kept it bottled up. And he asked me about depression, and I said, yeah, I am. I'm depressed. And he gave me a medicine, and I said, I don't want to take anything that's addictive or anything. I don't want to be psychedelic or high or nothing. He gave me medicine, and there's none of those. I don't have to take it tomorrow if I don't want. I could take it any day I want. It has no side effects, except it might make you sleepy, so it says, but it never has for me.
Yeah.
And I'll try to pronounce it, but I'll spell it. And I only take 10 milligrams. I take it one time a day. And the very first day I took it, I thought I saw a change or I felt something different. And I said, nah, couldn't be. The second day I took it, my depression was gone. I don't know how to say it. It's a miracle. I'm not high from it. Nothing. But it's called, I'll spell it first, and then I'll try to say it. citalopram. And I think it's like citalopram, and it's only 10 milligrams. And all I can say is everybody's things are different. But for a guy that, was so skeptical, this was like a miracle drug. I said, you've got to be kidding me. Can't believe it.
Wow.
And now I'm at the point where I might just say, you know what? I might not take it and see if I'm okay on my own. And I know if I'm not, I can go back to it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say be careful, but I mean, if your doctor tells you that that's fine,
just follow doctor's instructions.
Yeah,
you got it.
Always, yeah.
I'm just glad that you were able to find something that works.
I'm sorry to say that I'm getting a very mixed volume with you guys. It's kind of goes up and down. I can almost hear you sometimes and barely.
Oh.
Sorry, sweetie.
I don't know.
Medication's going to be a wonderful thing to add into your life. Really.
That's all I wanted to say. I hope you were able to hear what I said, and
yes.
You look in a room and everybody's has the same faces, but you don't know what's in their head. Some of them are suicidal, some of them are depressed.
Some of them we don't want to know what's in their head.
Most everybody that you know someone that commits suicide, and I can say that I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and it's a bad thing, you know what I mean? It doesn't. there's no good that comes out of it. A lot of broken hearts and harm, and no good. There's got to be a better way for people.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Ron.
All right, friends.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the call. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, great call from Ron. Yeah, he's talked about that before. Mike Pelopita in the chat room says it's, I don't know if I can say it, I can't say it.
I don't know about
I wonder if it's like a generic of...
I think that's a generic name he's saying. There's 3 medical professionals sitting here going, we're not sure.
Miriam Banish says it's generic Lexapro.
Oh!
Yeah, Lexapro.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to, couldn't get it. Yeah. That's a really good topic to talk about in this realm, is that medications are not a negative. Medications are very much a positive. I take medications every day to keep myself alive. A lot of us do.
And what works for one person doesn't always work for somebody else. I mean, it is a thing that has to be kind of
it's got to be done
out.
Exactly. Conjunction with your doctor and your life and your family, what's best for you. Mm-hmm. You can't go on YouTube and watch a video or some Facebook person, trying to armchair it for you. Go, oh, no, don't take that. I got sick from it once.
Right. Because everybody's body composition's different. Everybody handles it differently. Just like you can have a beer and I can have a beer, but the way it's handled in the body is totally different.
Well, if you get mad a beer, he gets really, he's totally tipsy off of one.
No tolerance.
He has 0. Yeah.
I'm Irish.
He gets a little handsy sometimes. He's very cute.
Just got to throw him in O'Doul's. Non-alcoholic.
That's for the other show.
You know what we gave him? You should see Maddie after a Long Island iced tea. Wow. He has no idea to this day what's in it.
That's true. Well, that's Stephen Philbrook's fault.
Yeah. It's not lemonade.
I would imagine in prison, it's. I mean, what do you do if you're struggling with mental health issues and
they lock you up? They put you in a shoe.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
They put you in a special housing unit.
They actually make it worse because then they isolate you.
Yeah,
right. And they take all your clothes away and they put you in a paper outfit.
Depending on the extent, it depends on the incident.
Yeah.
So if they put somebody there, does like a mental health provider come and talk to them throughout the day, or are they just stuck in isolation?
No. So while there, because I have a degree in psychology, they took in prison. It's just like you have everybody's basically there from a variety of professions.
Yeah.
So if you have a particular skill, you just show proof of this skill, and then you can take this training that they had. It's called a suicide companion.
Okay.
So I was a suicide companion. When they would have an active suicide watch, we would take turns to watch the individual. If this person is actively on suicide watch, then he or she has nothing but a paper gown.
Wow.
And just a blanket. You're not allowed to, a mattress. You're not allowed to pass anything back and forth between them. They're in a glass cell, plexiglass cell where they're being observed. But at the end of the day, that person truly doesn't get any treatment. They're just watched for 72 hours.
Okay.
And the doctor will come down and you're gonna stay in here until you stop doing what you're doing.
Jeez.
But there is no true intervention, there's no treatment, there's no programs or anything.
Wow.
So you're screwed basically.
And hopefully too, once the book comes out and maybe this becomes popular, I'm always looking on
the horizon.
Yeah,
so
but the awareness of this, and maybe things can happen now in the prison systems to fix these things that are coming to the forefront. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, you're still probably, even if a crime was committed, stuff. But if the help isn't there, how can anything be fixed? And then you get angry when people commit the same crimes again or do the same things again because
I'm glad you said that, because it actually reminded me of something Maddie and I talked about fairly recently, and that's when we all sit there and when most people sit there and go, oh, if you ever need something, I'm a voice, give me a call, I'll be right there. But how many people are really there when the person calls that doesn't get mad at them? Why you bother me? I had to run home. Why is that going on? Why is this going on? Are you really there, or are you yelling at them and poo-pooing on them when you know what I mean? If you say to somebody, I'm going to be here for you, I'll listen. Be there. Don't get mad if they ask you to.
Right.
But I think we fail each other because we're so quick to get angry over this or that. Oh, I missed this or I missed that. That we don't stop and go, oh, yeah. Because, when we do that is after they're gone and we're at their funeral and we're going, gee, I wish they'd said something.
Right.
Well, they probably did. And you probably weren't all that receptive.
Right. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this? Hello? It's the Phantom. Okay, never mind.
Sometimes the calls drop, I think.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Well, I think they get nervous because they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is the big time radio show, and they panic and they hang up. Joe Friday in the chat room says, do you not agree, though, that these mental health issues have always existed? However, it also stems from the parents or the grandparents, and these people had no chance from the beginning, which is very sad. Yeah, some of this is genetic, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things are traits. They're genetic traits that can be traced back.
Yeah.
But
which means treat.
who truly takes the time and to go find out? And I remember when I was working in neurology, Huntington's disease. A lot of people don't even talk about it.
I've heard of it, but I can't.
It mimics Parkinson's.
Okay.
But in order to find out if you have the trait, you'd have to do a blood test.
Okay.
And what we would do for our patients is they would come in under assumed names. And I'll tell you why. They would come in under assumed, these are made-up names. We would check them in under these made-up names. We would draw their labs and secretly send them out to a lab that would test them.
Okay.
And then let us know if this person has the trait. And the reason why is because the insurance companies would not cover certain patients with this disease.
Oh.
Were they calling it pre-existing?
It's a bad thing. And it is a pre-existing condition that you may be affected by at some point in your life.
Oh.
So everything is done clandestine.
Interesting.
So with that being said, if a person who knows the history of Huntington's disease in their family would take the time to go get themselves and their children tested to find out if they have the trait, think of how we are able to jump in front of a speeding train.
Yep.
If we decide to say, you know what, my grandmother suffered from depression. My grandfather was suicidal. Let's do a blood test to see, if I have that trait. It's not that simple.
Right.
But it does follow you.
Interesting, yeah.
And you would have to pay attention to the signs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when I asked you, have you ever been to New York City before?
Yes.
How do you get there?
Driving.
How do you know that you're driving towards New York City?
My GPS.
Perfect. What about you?
If I was driving to New York?
Yes. How do you know that you're actually on the route without a GPS to New York City?
Map.
And maps have what?
Grids, maps of
signs.
Signs.
Oh, Abigail got it in the chat.
You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Signs will alert you to the dangers ahead. Signs will alert you to the fact that you're on the proper course. Signs will tell you one way. Signs will tell you do not enter. People wear signs every day, and we do not pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I
love the way you worded that.
I always get that kind of question wrong when somebody.
Part of the book.
Oh, okay.
People don't pay attention to the signs that the folks that we encounter on a daily basis wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that too when you're, if you date somebody and they're like, why didn't I see the red flags?
Yeah.
Right? You did. They were there.
You just think
you just for whatever reason
that
didn't
do not enter that one.
Ignored them. Yeah. We have a call.
Go ahead.
Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this? Hello? It's the Phantom again.
The
Phantom. Yeah, Joe Friday says, sometimes I think when they blame it on the genetics, people feel helpless and become a victim. If it's a choice and a lifestyle change your ways and make your life better. Well, that does raise a question too. If you get some sort of test done and then you have the trait for something, are you and as a psychologist, you're
No, I'm not a psychologist. I have a 2-year degree in psychology.
So what does that make you then?
It just makes me a person who has a 2-year degree in psychology.
Gotcha. Well, as someone who has a 2-year degree in psychology, let me ask you this. I gave you a promotion.
Yeah.
No. Is there a risk if someone thinks that they have something, that they have the genetic trait for something? Is it possible that they might begin to mimic certain symptoms?
Mind over matter. I mean, my doctor, I have high blood pressure. My doctor put me on lisinopril and told me not to eat salt.
Yeah.
Keep away from the potato chips.
I'm on propanolol. I hear you.
You know what I mean? So when hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
Hindsight's 20/20. So if, God forbid, you find out that you have a genetic trait for any particular thing, now let's look at the treatment plan. There has to be, you ran this test for a reason. If it was negative, then I'd go home a happy camper, right?
Yeah.
If it was positive, then we should have a treatment plan in place.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, I'm one of those people that has done extensive genetic testing.
Yeah.
I've had all kinds of crazy genetic testing. And in my case, there have been decisions made in my care that have been influenced by knowing my genetic profile and knowing what we're trying to either prevent or treat. As I have a couple of polymorphisms and some weird variants that, all my life I've been sick off and on, and we could never figure out why.
Yeah.
Until after I got breast cancer, I had all the testing done, and lo and behold, there was this genetic issue that we didn't even know I had. It's MTHFR. Mm-hmm. And I did have my child tested for it to make sure that he didn't have active MTHFR for that exact reason you were bringing up. But genetics can be such a valuable role. But again, like what you said, it's the insurance companies that get in the way of this stuff.
They do.
Because if everybody could have millennial testing, we'd know what medications are better for you. I have a test that was done by Millennial, and it literally says whether or not my body can process certain medications, either not at all, maybe a little bit, or a whole lot, right? So it helps the doctors go, well, this medication would be better than medication B.
Yeah.
I just wish that we could all do that. And mental health issues are right in there too.
Indeed.
But to your point, to everything that you've been saying, we go around this tree all the time, but society still lets insurance companies, and our leaders let insurance companies get away with this crap, and it costs lives. Real people die from this stuff.
You forget too, and actually we discussed this in a book, but something separate. But it's a business.
It is.
Even healthcare is a business at the end of the day. I mean,
Absolutely.
you think about it, you're like, well, this could be done. And then I go, we could be doing a lot more, but it's not happening. Mm-hmm. You still got to pay. Like, you had to go for all this surgery and you didn't have insurance, or like some, then it's like, well, can't have it. It's at the
like
end of the day,
everybody talks about right to try. Yay, great. We have right to try. I'm under that right now. And I pay 100% out of pocket for my treatments. No money, no treatment. End of discussion. Mm-hmm. Insurance company says, too bad, too sad.
Right.
You have the right to get access to it, but that doesn't mean you can get it. If you don't got the money to belly up to the plate, boy, you ain't getting nothing. Mm-hmm. I have people who die from my disease. that this treatment could save their lives, but they can't access it. Right, to try my foot. It sounds nice on paper, but...
Right. And it's like those things, and, when we were even talking about the prison systems and things like that, that's a business.
Big time.
How even the inmates handle each other is a business.
Well, you were talking about people getting moved around. That's a huge industry for the states. They make money off of that. They
Definitely.
ship prisoners, like if you're a prisoner in Texas and they ship you to to Berlin in New Hampshire that houses federal prisoners, the state is getting that money to house that prisoner.
Yeah, that's called the Federal Borders Program. That's where they have here in the Eastern Seaboard. So Massachusetts has it with the federal government. They will ship their problems out of the feds. It's a prison exchange program.
Oh.
They'll take the Massachusetts prisoners, send them into the federal system. They will get their problems out of the feds, and they will send them into the Massachusetts system. It's it's a money game. Right?
When I did the Merrimack County Jail, when I was on the committee that ran over their budget, I learned about how much money we make from the federal government to put them in our that's Merrimack County. It's a county jail.
Yeah.
It's a state jail. This is state. The state makes money. Put that federal prison in there, they get a nice little paycheck over it. Prisoners are money for these people. They make more money with people in the jails, not out. So they're not going to work towards getting people rehabilitated or helping people with addiction or helping people that were born into really horrible situations and nobody ever gave them a leg out.
And this is why recidivism is so high.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I had a conversation, and here I'm the guy. I'll tell you, I have multiple degrees. They don't mean anything to me. I don't work as a psychologist. I have a business degree. I don't work as a business manager. They don't mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I had nothing else to do. I love to read. I love going to school.
Yeah.
But I did not want to just wither away and waste away while there. So I took the initiative to do these. They didn't have, there was no internet when I was out. So, I did these, classes by mail, and brought them into the education department who would look over them and then send them to the administrators at the, colleges that I signed up for.
No kidding. Huh.
Totally legit. Yeah. However, this country has always been a blue-collar country. When I was young, probably when you were young, the trade industry is what ran this country.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Every high school in Massachusetts had a VOTEC program.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That kid can learn AutoCAD. That kid can learn painting, carpentry, welding, so on and so forth.
Here, too, yeah.
Those kids who took advantages of those programs, if they're still alive, they're probably still in the union. That person with that business degree have to wait for that building to be built.
Interesting.
That mason has to lay the foundation.
Yeah,
that carpenter has to come in there. That plumber has to put those pipes there.
Yeah.
Before the person with the degree goes into that building.
That's true.
The trade industry has been stripped from us, and everybody focuses on college.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a proponent for college. I'm a proponent for find yourself a skill, a trade. What do they tell you? Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's what the trade industry was about.
Yeah.
And when those programs were taken from us, the ability to the ability for you to take care of yourself and pass that on down to your children, it's been gone. And they took it out of the prisons. They took it out of the high schools. So what you have now is the basketball effect in and out of the prison systems.
Yeah.
You throw them in, they come right back out, looking for the next, thing to terrorize.
Right.
There's no skills. There's no traits there.
We have a call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is Mike Sutter from your Tuesday Tweakonomics mix segment. How are you?
Good. Mike Sutter, also known as Grant Lampton on Friday nights at our sponsor, The Hop Knot. What's up, Mike?
Yes, sir. I wanted to chime in. I was really enjoying the conversation and the folks who called in and your current guest there. I'm going to bare my soul to you guys a little bit. I lost my older brother to suicide. He was held in a local county jail down south for about 12 hours, and this is back in the 70s, so there weren't quite the same precautions as the paper suit and things like that. And unfortunately, things came to a sad end for him. But the idea that folks are even talking about this now and are aware of it, in the late 70s, my brother didn't have access to, a social worker at a county jail who would kind of take a look at him and keep an eye on him and things like that. So I'm happy, if you can say happy on this subject, I'm happy that you guys are talking about it and that there are resources for, you get pulled over for a DWI or something like that, and they throw you in the cooler. Now they keep an eye on you. This is relatively a new kind of access for folks who are held overnight, for a DUI or a domestic or what have you. My brother didn't have that opportunity, and like I said, didn't end up well for him. But I'm thrilled to hear you guys talk about it, and the resources that your guests are talking about kind of light my heart a little bit. That there are other people that come along, and if they do get held, or if they're in there for a long time, that there are resources for them to take a look at them and offer them help in another direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry to hear about your brother. That's terrible. That's the kind of thing.
Well, I appreciate you taking the call, and since you guys are talking about it, this is something I keep under my belt and have since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
it's great to hear you guys talking about it, and I hope there's lots of other ears out there who are listening.
Thank you for being comfortable to share that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you guys. On a higher note, I will be over at the Hop Knot tomorrow night at 7 p.m., and if you want to come get serenaded by me, I'd be happy to have you.
Very good, very good. All right, Mike, thank you so much for the call, my friend.
You got it, buddy.
All right,
see you.
Take care. Bye-bye. The great Mike Sudderth, also known as Grant Lampton. By the way, so it's 5:20. Are you cool to just stay?
I was just sitting here saying to myself, I did not expect the feedback, or even the topic just totally switched.
That happens a lot in this.
Totally switched.
I told you.
We go with the flow around here.
And it's you definitely have to go with the flow. And I'll stay. It's
cool.
It's shocking. I love the feedback from the callers, and I'm looking at what's being said in the chat. So hopefully it touched somebody.
I think you touched a lot of people, and I think you're going to continue to do that.
This
is a TED Talk in the making, like really.
Oh yeah.
More voices like yours need to be heard.
Have you ever done one of those?
What, radio?
A TED Talk.
A TED Talk. I can totally see that.
You got to submit him for a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
When the book comes out, that's something you're going to want to.
Oh yeah,
okay.
You'd be really great for it. They're conferences where individuals that have I can speak. Have stories like yours or life experiences like that.
Yeah.
And they have like a 20-minute thing that they talk about.
Yeah, symposiums. I've done symposiums. You call them TED Talks.
Well, no, this is a specific group, and the TED Talks are huge across the world, actually. They're known all over, but across the United States, they're super, super big. And there's a lady named Brene Brown who's a research psychologist who did a TED Talk once, and it's a great story about her because she did a TED Talk, 20 minutes, and then she realized something she'd said in her talk she was a little uncomfortable with. She goes, I shouldn't have said that. What if, a few hundred people see this video, and a million or so later, she's like, I have no contingency plan for this.
Yeah.
But it's something that I think reaches out to a lot of people, and I'd love to see you in every avenue that you can do that with, because I believe in my heart you have the ability to save lives in your story.
Thank you. And again, piggybacking on what you said, that is the reason why I'm not hiding in the background with my story.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of us, who are comfortable with telling this truth.
Yeah.
My truth is my truth. How you accept it, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm not going to do to you is lie to you about my truth.
Yeah.
And I believe that the more people hear that, the more people we get who come out of the shadows and look for ways to not terrorize their communities. You know, if you don't have an outlet, if you don't have, resources to leave those things alone, because keep in mind, when we're asking, that segment of the population to put down that in which you're doing that is terrorizing us, you have to put something in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give them a reason to put it down.
You have to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you to put the gun down, put the drugs down, but am I giving you a job? This is where we have to get the community actively involved with what's going on in our communities. You can't just come here, set up shop, and hope that, the kids who are terrorists in the excuse the expression, in the community won't terrorize you.
Right.
Yeah.
You come here, you open a store, you open a business, allocate 20, 30 hours of payroll dollars to some kid who passes a program to come and work.
Mm-hmm.
Get them off the streets. Allocate 30 hours of payroll dollars to a part-timer. Give them marketable skills.
Yeah.
We can't just lock the entire community up and allow everybody to come and to do business and cipher from the community. Invest in your community. Invest in the people in your community.
Yeah.
That's how we keep it safe. That's how we stop recidivism. We don't have to have your kids, waiting in line to get into the school that's close to the house. Put your money together. There's a storefront there that hasn't been open in forever. You know how many teachers, GED teachers we have running around, or just teachers, period, who can open up a GED program, an ESO program? Give them something other than the corner.
Yeah.
Give them something other than drugs. But
Or
who's
chasing
willing
them
to
off.
invest? Who's
Cops
willing to
chase
invest?
them out. We chase kids out all the time. We do. We have the cops chase them out, neighbors
They're
chase them out. Where are they going to go? So they're in an alley somewhere because they've gotten chased out of the park.
The cops are overwhelmed. You know how many times they told me when I was a kid, I'm tired of coming around here chasing you.
Yeah.
If I see you again, I'm getting overtime.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, because something that I talk about a lot on the show is I'm very much in favor of ending the drug war. Not just legalizing cannabis, but certainly legalizing cannabis and probably decriminalizing everything else, because I feel that it would. I think it would. I'm not saying it would solve all the problems, but I think it would solve a lot of. In terms of we talked about the police being overwhelmed. Freeing them up to deal with actual crime instead of trying to lock somebody up because they got caught with some cannabis or something else. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that?
On legalizing drugs?
Yeah.
No.
You don't agree?
No.
Okay.
I want to say this to you. Everything that you heard coming out of my mouth, I am for law and order.
Okay.
Trust and believe.
Yeah.
I believe that if you do something that is against the societal norm,
you
pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy who says legalize cocaine, heroin, not me.
What about cannabis?
I work with one of the leading rheumatologists in this country. And when she spoke, I don't indulge.
Yeah.
But when she spoke about the medicinal qualities of it, and because of the respect that I have for her, I shut my trap about my personal opinion, because I believe that it's a drug.
Okay.
That's my belief.
Yeah.
But again, millions of other people, medical professionals, who have way more information than I do, say different.
Right.
So I'm going to believe the science.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take my foot out of that circle.
Gotcha.
However, I don't believe that drugs should be legal. I hate drugs, despite the fact that I spent half of my life in prison for selling them. Opioids have destroyed New England. We are the leading abusers of opioids. You look at me, you never know. I've had 2 total hip replacements.
Oh, really?
Never, ever took an oxy.
Yeah.
Never.
That's all well and good, but I'm not in favor of no painkillers for some
I'm not talking about painkillers. I'm just me, because I know that the guy who slips and falls and hurts his back goes to the doctor with back pain, the doctor medicates. 3 or 4 years later, he's still taking medication for back pain. Instead of them fixing it, he's now addicted to an opioid. I've seen it in the hospital myself.
Sure.
I don't know about anybody else's experience.
Sure.
But I've seen our patients who come in with these chronic, pains are now addicted to these opioids. They abuse them. And the doctors are happy to write the prescriptions. They're happy to do it.
I'm going to shut my trap and
That's
remain silent.
Look at the news.
In fairness and respect for you, I have been very actively involved in in pain care and in the chronic community of people who have illnesses that have no cures. And I am actually a ketamine infusion patient and a very successful cannabis patient. I have extraordinarily rare diseases. And in fairness, all of the doctors that I have worked with, who we worked with last year to change the laws in the state of New Hampshire to ensure that patients who have very serious diseases always have access to pain care, do not just hand out scripts at all. And most doctors in New Hampshire don't do that. We have a fentanyl crisis, but it's not the chronic pain patient who has a disease they can't cure that's selling their oxy. They're rationing them to themselves to try and get through the pain that they're suffering from.
That's good.
So for me, it's hard to hear what you're saying and not respond on the other side of it.
I respect your opinion. Walk methadone mile in Massachusetts.
I'm sorry?
Walk methadone mile in Massachusetts on Mass Ave.
I understand what methadone is. I very much do.
It's a strip.
I understand what you're saying. And there are a lot of, you could say that about a lot. Yeah. And go into my community and see how many, 70% of the people with my disease commit suicide. The medical community calls my disease the suicide disease. It was discovered over 145 years ago, and to this date, there is no approved treatment, there is no cure, and they're not even sure why the heck we get it. I want those people to have pain care, because when you take pain care away from them, what you have is somebody like the Paralympian Veranette, who had CRPS like I do, and had both of her legs amputated, and got to a point where she couldn't handle the pain anymore and was done, and went to Belgium for assisted suicide. That's the alternative for people like me. Okay. So
I don't want to shift the tide of the conversation.
I'm sorry.
It's become personal. Yeah, I don't want to shift.
I don't. It is.
Yeah,
it's
become personal.
It is, and I'm not going to go there. I don't want to go there.
Please.
You know what I really would rather go with you is I would really want to know how all of these things that you've done incredible things in your life, and you've gone through a lot of things. I see you as that survivor. How does that come out or come into play in the music that you're creating?
Well,
or does it at all? Is your music more of an outlet?
I more so guide the artist. I'm that person who give that artist the outlet.
You're more into the management side at this point, right?
I'm the back room guy.
Yeah.
But you'll see my names on the flyers. You'll see me on the stage.
When you look at somebody though, what's that? Do you look for something specific that goes, yeah, I want to highlight that soul. I want to bring that energy to the stage, or is there something that just you look for, a quality that you look for in your artists?
No. It's a old Italian guy told me years ago. He says, "Charlie, baby, you got it." And I said, "What?" He said, "I don't know, but you got it."
That it. Yeah.
Right? So, case in point, I'm sitting outside 603 before the whole name change, and I'm having lunch, and I hear this voice out of nowhere. I didn't realize how close it was to me. And I turn around, and my eyes are just glued to this young girl sitting in the corner, singing at the top of her lungs, singing her heart out. And this lady came over, and she's like, keep going, girl, keep going. And I just sat there, and I watched her just sing. And she touched base on 4 or 5 different genres of music.
Mm.
And she was like, well, what do you want me to sing? You want me to sing a country song? And she did it. And whatever the girl asked her to sing, she hit it.
Wow.
And I waited for a couple of days because I didn't want to come across as like the creepy guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was watching you from the corner of the room.
I said to her a couple of days later, I said, you have an amazing voice. She says, how do you know I can sing? And I says, I heard you the other day. That sparked the conversation. I said, have you ever done music before, professionally?
Was she performing there, or she was just at the table in the corner just singing along?
She's the young lady who serves the drink. This is Unique Harmony.
Oh, that's awesome.
Uriah.
Okay. See, I'm not familiar with that artist.
I talked to her, and I says, I would like to bring you to Boston to our studio and have you sing for my guys. And, she was like, sure. And one Thursday, we sent her the address, and she came down to Cruise Entertainment in Attleboro. We got a big studio down there, and she blew those guys away.
Wow.
So I says to her, I want you to do my show on July 27th. And she came down, and she did the show on July 27th, and it was such a demand for her that I'm putting her back on the show for August 31st. And we actually sent her music so that she can write to.
Yeah.
So it's stories like that where these voices just come out of nowhere. I remember as a kid when I would go to the radio station, 95.3 FM Street Beat in Harvard Station. It was on Quincy Street downstairs from the fire department. I was real young. And you would hear this lady strumming her heart out, singing, Homeless Lady. Well, years later, this lady became Tracy Chapman.
No kidding?
No kidding. Wow.
I love her. I
So,
love her.
You got another part of the book.
Music, you never know who has that voice.
That is so cool that you found somebody like in a. You see that in movies, but you don't think it happens in real life.
She's amazing, and we are trying to work with her to make her a star.
And this is someone you're going to have at 603?
She's going to be there on the 31st. Her name is
she
Uriah.
currently works there now.
She works there.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
She works there, and her voice is beautiful.
Oh, see, now I'm kind of curious here to go hear that voice.
Her stage name is Unique Harmony.
I like that name. I do like that name quite a bit.
She's amazing.
By the way, do you ever run into a situation where you meet someone, an artist who you see something in them, they have that it, but then you kind of maybe you get to know them or you get to work with them, and then it turns out maybe they don't have maybe they have the it, but they don't have any. See, because
there's a hollow hole behind.
Well, the thing is, because I used to do a lot of promotion, local promotion and stuff. I've gotten away from all that, but I used to do that, and like when we used to have the Uptown Tavern up the street, I did a lot of shows there where I'd book a bunch of bands on a night.
Yeah.
But and I did a little bit of artist management, but I came up with an axiom. I always said everyone wants to be a star, but only as long as it's easy.
Yeah.
Because I just would run into so many people who. They might have all the talent in the world. They might have it, but no motivation, no drive.
We talked about that.
Stop for a
we
second.
actually talked about that.
Really?
Because the thing is, no one wants to push.
To
do. You have to do some of your own legwork, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They just think they're going to go from home.
Matt doesn't know anything about people expected to do their own work.
Crazy Joe. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Our friend Crazy Joe.
I'm laughing because I don't know if you go back on you and I are Facebook friends now, so I don't know if you go back and see any of my old posts. And the other day she says to me, "What was up with that post? And people were inboxing me like, you just went crazy on all artists."
Oh, I love that kind of stuff. I'm gonna have to look for that. Yeah.
I was basically saying, like, I have a platform for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have laid out the map for you. All you have to do is get here.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of artists who think that because they got 5,000-10,000 views on YouTube, that they're superstars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, you're not a superstar when you're singing for your mother, your brother, your sister.
Yeah.
That's family. Those are not fans.
Yeah.
And then when artists are up there and they're challenging each other, make some money first, make a name for yourself. Don't come out the door with the boxing gloves up.
Right.
You know, relax, man. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And you look at, I have found just from being on YouTube or guys sending me random music, there is a lot of talent here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
In New Hampshire. I'm getting music right now as we speak.
Yeah.
People are sending me
Oh, I
links to
believe
music.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and Boston has some of the greatest artists. You have artists like Made Men, RSO, you know, Fam Feta, Sandro Castro. These artists, they know that there's work that need to be done. This business is an action-oriented business. You cannot go in the studio, do a demo, and sit home and wait for people to come and buy it.
Right.
Radio spots, videos, DVDs, what have you, those are just marketing tools to make your fans want to come out and see you.
Yes.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
So that means it's going to take work, and a lot of people don't want to do the work right now.
I think that's part of today's society, though. It seems like because we're such a have it yesterday society, I need my satisfaction now.
Yep.
It seems like, especially personally for younger folks, I have found it difficult to say, you know, you slow down. You got to get some experience going. You got to get in there and do the job and earn a name and earn a reputation, and that takes years. It's not a week. It's not overnight. It's not go watch a YouTube video and you're good to go. And I feel like today's society is just so I wanted it yesterday that sometimes it's hard to find people willing to put in the work to actually get there.
Well, on that note, I'll give you all some homework.
Oh.
Go on to YouTube. There is a video. It's called Millennials in the Workplace.
I think I've seen this, actually.
Wait a minute.
It
Isn't
touches
that what we are?
base.
No, we're not that.
It hits the nail right on the head as to what you just said.
I bet.
And I used it as a teaching tool.
Yeah.
Millennials in the workplace. And then you can inbox me and tell me what you think, or you can put it on the post and tell me millennials in the workplace.
I have to check that one out.
You'll appreciate this, Charles. I used to always, when I would do shows, I would talk about the mythical record company scout. You know, these people who think that, you know, they're going to go and play some shows in their local bar. They're going to play a couple times, and then the mythical record company scout is going to show up one night and be so impressed that he's going to whip out a contract with a 10-album deal. And
now you're a pretty woman.
And then the next day you're on a plane flying to the Playboy Mansion for a meeting with some executive. But
they still have that place? I thought he died.
Yes, a wrap.
He died, I think.
The place still stands.
Yes.
His daughter oversees the operation.
I didn't know that. So there's still a bunny house.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, before we run out of time, we do have to wrap up soon because there's another live show that follows us on Thursdays. The Weekly Die-On coming up live at 6 p.m. I'm so glad you stayed, though. This has been
big
amazing.
Time.
Yeah.
I would have been sad if you'd walked out on this conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
And you were thinking initially a half hour.
Yeah. Well,
that would have been.
Will you come back again?
If invited, sure.
Of course. Absolutely. Anytime. But I want to make sure we promote, it's August 31st?
August 31st, Turn Up Tuesdays Club, 603 Bar and Grill, Manchester, New Hampshire. Come out, turn up with us on that night. Doors open at 8 o'clock, 21 and over.
Excellent.
What about for people who don't like turnips?
Well,
I can't be the first one to use that
seriously,
joke. All right.
Is that like a dad joke?
That was terrible.
Wah, wah. Am I the first one to use that joke?
I've never heard that. Everybody likes to turn up. Man.
Okay.
You just don't know. It's a natty thing.
Yeah. But by the way, is there somewhere people should go online specifically to keep up with everything that you're doing? Because obviously you're doing other events.
Yeah, they can. Right now, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is at 603. So please go on 603's Facebook page. Like them, friend them, share them. It's 603 Bar and Grill, Manchester, New Hampshire. Or you can find me on Facebook, Boston Black. Of course, you and I are friends. So Boston Black, you'll see an image of me with the mic in my hand that says, "We can do this. I'm vaccinated." In my group, LG and the Bulldogs are in the background. But 603 Bar and Grill, like their page, share their page, look at their fan. They have a lot of the upcoming events that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You can follow us there, or you can just go straight to Boston Black.
If you want to post a link to Boston Black in the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page, our listeners will be able to get it that way as well if you would like.
I'm not a techie, but I'll try. Everybody keeps inboxing me saying, make your post shareable.
Got you.
I got you.
She got you.
Make your post shareable. I don't know. I was locked up for half my life.
There are some funny things about that in the book.
There was none of this stuff when I was away. Man.
And for the book, we're looking at January, you said?
January,
probably?
I'm hoping to start getting it
awesome.
out. Yeah, I want to push for that. Might go a little over, but let's see.
How much of an adjustment, by the way, was that when you came out? And we've got Facebook and things like that.
Can I just one thing about when I first came, please?
No, we got to see.
I think it's the funniest.
Oh, no.
Oh, let him. Come on. It's going to be
I want to hear it.
the one story. Come on, please.
All right.
Okay, so Bluetooths. You know the things you put in your ear?
Bluetooth, yep.
I had never heard of them, never seen them before. And I was on the platform at Downtown Crossing.
I know where this is going.
Waiting for the train, and everybody was talking to themselves. And I was like, huh? And people were like giving me the finger like, shh, pointing at their ear. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Everybody's crazy.
It's
like,
wow, yeah.
Flip phones, I'm forget about it. Yeah, culture shock.
Yeah.
Everybody was crazy.
That's great. I especially appreciate that because to this day, it is the year 2021, and I still haven't gotten used to seeing that. When I see someone just talking, like I wonder, is that person crazy or do they have a Bluetooth in? Because around here, you can't.
Yeah, here
can't
we are
sure.
talking about mental health, right?
Oh, no.
And here we are talking about being tolerant with mental health.
Yeah, listen to this one
I was
over
so
here.
freaked out by
Listen to, oh, God, right?
Oh, yeah, that had to be wild.
Huh? Something's in my head.
Charles,
all right.
Boston Black, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
This has been fantastic. Absolutely. Veranette, thank you.
Thank you. I will be there on Tuesday night because I'm actually interviewing
some of the guys.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
For the YouTube, because I started a YouTube channel too. I just haven't done it.
Yes. Did you want to plug that, or is there not?
You
want to wait?
We're getting started with it. It's just going to be under Veranette March. So probably like with the show, when eventually that starts, like the pre-recorded stuff, we're also going to share it on YouTube, and then not safe for work stuff also put on YouTube. So just kind of have everything,
Awesome.
I guess it would be like almost like the Veranette Unsheath.
Well,
there you go.
Well, you can post that on Matt Connarton Unleashed.
There you go.
Right.
And so, I'm trying to get that going. It's a lot of things at once, but
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, very good. Do you want to plug anything, Jenny?
As usual, you can find me at jencoffee.com. And as a contributing writer on The Mighty, you can look me up at jencoffee. And if you want to take a peek at any of my art scribbles, they're on my website as well.
Excellent. All right, and thank you to everyone who called today. A lot of great calls, a lot of great feedback and interaction. Stick around. The Weekly Die-On is coming up next live at 6 p.m., and if you missed any part of this show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. And that's going to do it for us for now. We're going to get out of here, and I will talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.